Hi, everyone. Blessings. Happy Monday. Lainey Savante Wolfen here with Christiana Gaudet, right? Uh, we, I, I have to say there's a little bit of technical jittery hiccups going on, but hopefully you guys will be able to get through it. We'll be able to get through it. I'm crossing fingers and toes. Joanna's not here tonight, but I am holding down the fort, and I'm so excited to have Christiana here because we have a lot that we got going on together. But let me just let you know, if you heard me earlier in the year talking about StaarCon, this uh, wonderful experience when I earlier this year. And what can I say? Christiana, is this your dream child? I don't know. Just for me, it was absolutely fantastic to be there.
Well, we were so happy to have you. I'm so excited to meet you and to know you and to work with your fabulous deck and just the whole concept behind it. It's so cool. And I'm glad that you have agreed to be there for StaarCon 2023. We're going to be doing some fun things together there. So StaarCon, the idea of doing an international tarot conference in South Florida had been with me for a long time. And finally, it was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this thing. Ciro Marchetti had been whispering in my ear about it. Mitchell Osborne had been whispering in my ear about it. And okay, so fine. So in like 2019, my partner John and I said, okay, we will make this thing happen. And we get it all set up. And I had pulled a tarot card about it and got the tower. But you know how we tarotists are. You get the tower, you keep on going. And then comes March 2020 and everything shut down with the pandemic. So we had to sort of choose, what do we do? And we decided for 2021 to go all online using a really fabulous conferencing platform called Accelerants. Went very, very well. So last year, or actually it's this year, this past January, is that, yeah, 2022, right. That's how that works, yes.
It's all a blur these last couple of years, I tell you.
Right. We were hybrid, and we are the first and only multi-track hybrid tarot and divination conference in the world. And it went pretty well for a first time out, and it was in the middle of the Omicron surge, which was interesting, but we did it. So we are planning for our next event, of course, will be January 20th through 22nd, 2023. Brand new in-person venue. We are going to be in the Palm Beach Airport Hilton. And this is a resort hotel. It is fabulous, so good. And we will still be online with Accelerants. So we're super excited and so glad to have you on board.
Oh yeah, I'm thrilled, and I'm a big planner, so I let people know well in advance. Mark your dates. I come from an event production background as well for decades, and so I'm so used to doing things a year to 2 years in advance. In fact, I used to also not only do major productions in Hollywood, but I also, when I moved from LA to New Mexico, I was sort of the big wedding planner there at some point, and I was doing these over the top weddings, like $100,000+ weddings. But some of them took 2 years to plan. So like for me, I like everyone to know well in advance, mark your calendars for every January, because right, you're going to do this every year.
Every January, and it will be that weekend in January, which is the weekend after Martin Luther King weekend. So whatever that is, it's that in the early 20s every.
How did you come up with the name? I know that Ciro made the most astounding design. I mean, that is such a beautiful design, and I'm going to try to pull it up if I can while you're talking.
Thank you. So we were discussing online. So, okay, so here's the group. It's like Ciro Marchetti, Mitchell Osborne, Mary Ellen Collins, Beverly Frabel, and me. Right. Those are the people like I pulled in right away. You're all Florida people. If we're going to, Lisa Hunt and Court Kramer as well. So if we're going to do this, y'all have to like be here with me, right? And so we were coming up with names, and I think it was Chiro. Not only did he create our graphics, I think it was him who said, "What about Southeastern Tarot Artists and Readers Conference?" And originally it was just going to be STARCON, but apparently there is some big conference that has nothing to do with what we do called StaarCon. So we're like, well, we can't do that. Can't get StaarCon.com. So we're like, well, we'll have two A's. And that's going to be our thing, right? So so we are StaarCon, STAARCON.
Works for me. I think it's so beautiful, and I I'm just laughing because now it's showing me that I couldn't pull it up, but you'll have to just go to starcon.com. I'm sorry, I'm going to blame it on technical week of Mercury, because usually I'm like boom up, boom flyer, boom graphics. Not today, apparently. But we press on, don't we?
We do.
So Denise Flood's here. Hi, Denise. Good to see you. And others, please say hello to me. Say hello to Christiana. Let us know you're here. Joanna is here. So she's here. She's here watching. Okay. So that's fantastic. Well, Joanna's going to play a part in some fun next year with us, right? We'll be talking.
I guess excited.
Can we talk about that, or do you want to wait what we're going to be doing?
No, I'm good with it. I'm totally good with it. Can I tell the story of how I got the idea for this?
Please tell the story. That would be awesome.
So we do a podcast, and we're actually changing it up a little. The new season will be out in June. But we do a podcast called StaarCast, STAARCAST. And so Lainey and Joanna came on with me for an interview. And I really did not understand anything about the food healing deck. And so I'm talking with them about it. And I guess I had asked if there's a particular food that you really don't like, does it say something about you? And because I have this thing with beets. Now that I'm a grown up, I can sort of handle them in certain preparations, but I'm not a beet fan at all, like not at all. And Lainey and Joanna basically gave me the rundown on what exactly that meant for me. And I think what I said at the time is, well, I feel very seen and very called out by a beet, right? And I thought about that. And then we talked about, well, the foods you really love, is that a thing? And it is. So on Saturday night, for a Saturday night entertainment, I wanted to do a psychic gallery. And like, that's one of my favorite things to do, but I didn't want it to be just me. So for the first half of the program, whether you're coming in person or online, if you tell Lainey and Joanna what your favorite food is and what your least favorite food is, they're going to tell you really important and interesting things about yourself. Then I will do what I'm calling the Saturday Psychic Sampler live. Every Saturday on my YouTube channel, I do the Saturday Psychic Sampler, where you ask a specific question, I give you a specific answer. So you'll start with reading people based on their food preference. And then I'll close the evening doing tarot readings for people. And it will be fun.
Super fun. And I'm so glad you brought up the beet story, because I have a beet story that happened to me last weekend. It was crazy. So I was at a different a show, and the woman next to me, she's very well known. Her name is Diane Marshall. And if you don't know her, y'all should. She creates sketch drawings of people who have passed. She doesn't ask you anything. You literally sit down, she calls in a prayer, and she just starts sketching. And when it's done, she says, I've called in this person, and then describes them a little. It's pretty profound. And we had this, it was just very interesting. Someone would come over to me and I would pull a card for them. And then I got, I would feel something like around their heart. that they were grieving, and then she would tell me, then they would go over, and then she would paint them. It was this crazy, wonderful thing. She had a carton of dried beets, and I was explaining to her how delicious they were after I tried them, but beets are our grounding card. And I can really see that maybe she needed them because she's so in the ethers drawing people from the other side. And yet she needs to kind of ground herself to kind of connect in right here. And she totally got that. Then she says, I'm actually feeling you need to keep the beets over by you. So I take the carton of dried beets. And then as people walk by, I would pull one card to let them know, to give them a sample of how the deck works. Well, this one woman, there's a spread of my cards out. She, pulls one, she gets beets. She says, okay. And then I give her a little reading on that. And then I'm holding a deck as well. I spread them open. She pulls beets.
Oh my God.
So she goes, okay, now I'm taking, now you have my attention. I said, oh, and I actually have some beets sitting right here. So then I give her some to ground, and we went into this whole thing. So I have to say there's always magic around beets. When I always remember your story, now the story last week, how beets came up 3 times and she had the beet chips there. And so now it's like, oh, wow, I should really have like beet chips, banana chips. I should have all the food chips there and to hand it to them when they're getting their reading. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was a good story. All right, so a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Tell me, you're a tarot pro. You're calling you a tarot pro. Tell me a little bit about your background. Are you all tarot? Are you Lenormand tarot? Tea leaves, coffee leaves, asparagus. Tell me more about your background.
So, okay, I'll take it from the very beginning.
Okay.
Which was, well, actually, I mean, you can really take it back. You can take it back to like being 6 and finding my mother's Edgar Cayce books and reading them and just like, so profound, right? But when I was 8, my mother, the queen of the Christmas stocking, put Gypsy Witch fortune telling cards in my stocking as sort of, because she was like that. She would just put like, if it'll fit in a stocking, man, it's going, that's what you do. And so I had this card deck, and you can still get these cards from US Games, right? And all these years later. So I read the instructions and I start doing readings, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real. This is real. And I tell the grownups around me, and they're just like, no, it's general. It's just your imagination, whatever. Okay, fine. So then when I'm like 19, I have some friends who are working with I Ching, and I do that. And, the interesting thing about I Ching is it really is a form of bibliomancy. You don't typically memorize the hexagrams and the trigrams and whatnot. You read it out of the Book of Changes. But all my friends, even though they knew how to do it too, would want me to give them the reading because I was really good at extrapolating what it was actually saying to them. So then
I know some people watching are like, don't even know what we're talking about. So I Ching is a type of divination using the elements. We should explain that, or just overall, because I know there are people who are just know all the divinations, and they probably others who don't even know what I Ching is. So, I have I Ching in my symbol for my logo.
There you go. I Ching is the Chinese Book of Changes. It's a very ancient divination method that originally was always done tossing sticks, specifically yarrow sticks. Now we often do it coin tossing, although in the community there's a question about whether coin tossing is really legit. And you can even now get I Ching cards. And I'm sure the people who say, well, it must be yarrow sticks, are just cringe at the cards, right? So you toss 6 times, and with 6, each time you toss, it creates a line that you draw. And those 6 lines will make a hexagram, which is made up of 2 trigrams. And that's your reading. So you look in the book and you see, and there are lines that can be moving lines. So you're moving from one hexagram into another hexagram. So it's really quite complex. And so that was that. But do I read I Ching now? No. Do I read Gypsy Witch fortune cards? No. So up until this point, I was not really seeing myself as like a mystical person particularly. And then I read a fiction book. It was really a fiction book that opened my eyes, and it was Marion Zimmer Bradley's The Mists of Avalon.
Oh,
I read that book and I was like, oh, I understand a lot now. And so then I go to the New Age store and I get books on witchcraft, which say, well, if you're going to be a proper witch, you have to do some kind of divination. So then I buy a tarot deck, which I proceed to do nothing with for about 2 years. I bought a tarot book, a tarot deck, and an Eden Gray book. And during that time, these were my Grateful Dead years. I'm traveling around the country, going from Grateful Dead show to Grateful Dead show, and occasionally to a rainbow gathering with my friends. And so
I can hear Joanna smiling from ear to ear right now as you're saying this. Okay, go ahead.
is
Keep
she a
going.
head? Is she a deadhead?
Oh, well, she'll comment if she is.
Joanna.
Hey, but I will say, at least I was at a Dead show, New Year's Eve, San Francisco, back in the a long time ago age. So I did do it proper. I did do it proper.
That is proper. That is really proper. Oh my gosh. So finally, during through the fields of wheat and corn and all of that, as we drive across America, I'm bored. So I pull out of my backpack the book by Eden Gray and I read it. And so then I'm practicing reading on everybody. And finally, I'm doing readings in the parking lot of the Dead show. And rainbow gathering, Joanna. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I wonder if we're ever at a gathering together. That's just amazing. Anyway, so that was the beginning. And I back home in New Haven, Connecticut, people would come by my apartment all the time with friends. Hey, can you read for us? And they'd bring, cookies that they baked or, whatever in trade. And it sort of went from there. And so I am a tarot reader. I am mediumistic. I do mediumship with tarot. I do a comprehensive tarot reading, a comprehensive psychic reading, but always with tarot, not Lenormand, not any other tool. It's tarot.
Got it. I had an interesting story once. I was interviewed about actually the Food Healing Oracle deck was not born yet. I was still doing tarot readings for clients here in Florida, and I was interviewed at the time by a reporter for a major mainstream publication. It's like part of the USA Network, like very mainstream newspaper. And he honestly asked me if a Christian can get a reading. And I was so touched. He sincerely didn't know what this world was, didn't know if it would be considered sacrilege or offensive. And I said, oh gosh, anybody of any kind, because really all I'm doing is holding a space to be a mirror of your own information. And when I kind of presented it like that, he kind of softened that all I'm doing is creating a space with these cards to help you visually see what you already know to be true, more so than being someone who is telling them what to do and may go against anybody's religion, because anybody can have their cards read, particularly, about kale or carrots.
Perfect. The majority, I'm a full-time reader. I'm in my office right now in an office complex. And I would say the vast majority of my clients are Christian, without a doubt. And I was raised in a Christian household. My father was a Methodist minister. So
wow.
I can quote Bible. I was reading for a very evangelical person the other day, who was really in crisis. And I was able to just like bring in the Bible for, all, because you can connect Bible verses to cards really easily. So
Well,
yeah.
thank you for that. We have a class. It's coming up here. We have actually, just for all those who are interested to know, foodhealingdeck.com. We just announced a whole slew of classes, including archangels and ascended masters, and what they have to say about food and the importance of colors. And there's just a lot of messages that Joanna and I channeled, but there is so much overlap. And for those who feel a little uncomfortable maybe about our world, I also call them food flashcards if they feel like they need that. But meanwhile, I think, the Matrix, I think, mainstreamed the word oracle, so makes us feel a little bit safer to be able to express how we want to express.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. That's one of the things I love about your deck is, there are images in a standard tarot deck that people could find scary or offensive or whatever. I mean, yes, I do find beets offensive and they are scary, but I mean, really, they're just beautiful pictures of fruits and vegetables. Really, who's going to find that offensive?
Here, I'll pull up probably our scariest card, and it comes up, and people are like, oh, I better not get that one. Eggplant is our shadow card.
Oh, I love eggplant. Eggplant is like one of my favorite foods. So is it shadow because it's a nightshade? Is it shadow because it's purple? Why is eggplant the shadow?
Actually, it's a little bit of both of those. Yes, absolutely. And in our deck, as you know, there's a channeled message, and then there's a practical, factoid. Uh, did I lose me?
You're back. You're back.
I'm back. But also, we're getting some storms here. We'll go until we can go. But also, not only is the nightshade, but we really about the eggplant, and you can see obviously the dark colors, but look how the light is shining on those eggplants, whether that just may be the picture itself. But that you can't take a food and make it bad. So all food is good. So some foods are going to be assigned maybe a word or two that is adverse, but to me and to Joanna, it's all spirit. But in this case, the shadow is coming in, coming out of the darkness into the light. That's like what these nightshade vegetables do. I mean, eggplant's just one of them. Some people are adversely affected by nightshades. Some people don't like, dealing with the shadow. I mean, there's a lot of kind of metaphoric. Are we here?
You're back now.
So from an actual geeky nutritional standpoint, when people have heart disease, their arteries are very clogged, and eggplants are actually artery scrubbers. They help clean out the arteries. Yeah. So shadow, so it actually clears out the dark shadows inside your arteries and clears them out and brings them into the light, brings them into health. So I actually incorporated the mere fact of what eggplant does for the body as well, is like it takes the shadowy, dark, unhealthy parts of our insides and clears them out.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. I love that. And I think it's fun that, the internet connection was staying pretty stable until you get to talking about the shadow. And then the internet goes all wonky. I love how cards will express themselves in life as we speak of them.
No doubt. And you're going to love, actually, I think, very much. And of course, we do teach a class on how our tarot's major arcana connects, which cards connect out of our 22. And we'll be, of course, presenting that at StaarCon. And I think people are going to really like that. We find many kind of variations of it, and people just love it. Is it raining outside? Because we're suddenly getting a massive storm.
Where in Florida are you?
We are on the Gulf side. We're on a very small unknown island close to Fort Myers, Cape,
Okay, right.
like
So,
Sanibel, and
right. I'm way on the other side.
you are.
Right near where we have StaarCon, in fact. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
in
Well, that
Palm
would
Beach
make sense.
County, but I'm like 30 miles north of West Palm Beach.
Awesome. Well, Claire is saying she loves eggplants. I have to say, eggplants one of my favorite foods too. That was one of our first cards, Joanna and I. We have to say sometimes feeling like we want to be a little, not perfect with our diet. Our favorite thing is eggplant pizza. We're just going to admit it right here, right now.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
best.
Yep. Yep. When I go for Thai, I will often get basil eggplant in the Thai place. So good. So good.
So the other day, you might have heard about this, that Frank
Kwiatkowski.
Kwiatkowski, James Wanless and I did a first feast, and we did a lot of symbology around the Voyager deck, 6 courses of his cards, and then 6 cards of the Food Healing Oracle deck. And it was a smashing success. But I thought,
Well, is it time for me to sing
all
and dance?
sorts of internet lost.
There you are. Now we can now like see you. And you were not frozen in a bad way. You were frozen in a cute face. So not to
Oh,
worry.
good. Thank God.
That's,
All
I mean,
right.
isn't that like I live stream a lot, and that's always the fear that I'm going to freeze in like a really unfortunate way.
Well, what's interesting is we just got this week, the Starlink, the Elon Musk satellite system that we've waited over a year for, and it just arrived. And it's supposed to take your internet from, say, 19 megabytes to like 150. Like it's supposed to, but it's still, I see, needing to work out a few kinks, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say, yeah, no, anyhow, what I wanted to say, I thought it would be fun is that, and we didn't have really time to prep because we had some tech pieces before, but how do you feel about maybe doing like a card of the week or a message this week that we can instill in our guests who are here watching? And maybe maybe you can pull a card and then I can pull a card and we can kind of synergize some things. If that works for you and if that works for the audience. If we have time to do individual, we can, but there's a good group here tonight. So, but I thought that might be kind of fun, is maybe just to see, this is, people are, I don't know, some people are Mercury retrograde fanatics, some aren't, some don't give it any energy. I know that there's a lot of concerns with gas prices going up and just overall well-being. But I just thought maybe we can tune in and see how we can support our guests here with what you have to share and what I have to share.
Sure. There is never a time that I can imagine that I would not want to pull cards.
Same. So true.
All right. So this is a card for the week, for the general energy of the week.
Yeah, just, what are we feeling in this moment, and what can our guests as a collective energy hear from it? If we have time and we feel called to call on people, we can, but maybe just an overall message that we could both share.
Let's start with your overall message, and I'm happy to read for people here as well. If you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm working with Light Seers Tarot, one of my favorite decks. And so one card for the energy of the week. Well, the Tower reversed. And the reversal here is a good thing. It suggests that as much as like you can look at things going on in the world, like so many things going on in the world that are terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And this is not to say that, oh, it's all fun, everything's good, go back to your business, it's all good. It's not to say that. But it is to say that maybe things are also getting better.
Mm.
And maybe things will not be as bad as we worry that they will be. And it is appropriate to be concerned, and it's appropriate to do the things we need to do based on that concern. But, you know, this reminds me of, okay, so I'm going to delve off into a quick story. When I worked in radio, I was the resident psychic of a bunch of different radio stations. And then through that, I actually became the morning girl on a number of different stations, right? And so we would, of course, give the weather. And if the weather was going to be bad, this is up north, so snow in the winter. If the weather was going to be bad, we were instructed to make it sound worse than it was.
Oh, my goodness.
For ratings. Now, you cannot tell me in the time of a 24-hour news cycle with news as entertainment that those people are not instructed to do the same, to make it sound worse than it is. And so let us not, in our own minds and hearts, make it worse than it is. All right.
Well, that is wonderful and excellent advice. What I would say to people, and then I'll pull the card and then I'll give 2 thoughts. And so because the tech, normally I have an air conditioning going in here, and I turned it off. So if you're seeing me sweat, that's just because it is probably 300 degrees in here. But the card,
glowing. You're not sweating. You're glowing.
The card I got to accompany and pair up with Christiana is our Black Sesame card, which is mindfulness. And I think that's just absolutely appropriate. I love this card because, you can have scattered thoughts if you start looking at all the different seeds that are everywhere, or you can collect your thoughts and put them nicely, gently into where they properly need to go. Like store them in your heart, or store them where you need to mindfully realize, is it as bad as I'm making it out to be? No. Do I have a roof over my head? Yes. Am I healthy? Do I have my limbs? Do I have my eyes? Have I been blessed in a million different ways? Well, let me think about it. Sure. Write some down. I could say that I came back. I was gone a month to see my daughter in Australia, the month of April. And there were so many situations that were like, oh my goodness. Okay, am I going to make the flight? Yes. Okay. And then, it was just so many different things. Is this going to happen? Yes, it happened. And after a multitude of them, the presence of spirit was so profound. I came back so relaxed that, like, wow, spirit always really does deliver. And I had I not been away on the other side of the world, close to where, Antarctica, where I had real perspective, I really got to hone my mindfulness and come back. And although it looks always dismal, there's always something. We can hold the mindfulness inside. In fact, Denise Flood here did our mindfulness meditation on our website. You should listen to it sometimes if you really want to kind of slow down and realize how wonderful your life really is. And I think that's I think what we're sharing is not just this week, but every week. But if it's particularly this week, because things may go awry for whatever reason, just to sit back and observe, like, things could be worse. I accept this, and I'm willing to moving to freeing the energy up, because it's all trapped in my head anyways.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Did that work?
I think so. So now what?
Did that take, or was I gone in the ethers? Denise Flood, such a great pairing of cards. Yes, awesome pairing. Well, Christiana said she's open to taking some readings, so let's see what we can pull. Let's just start with whoever wants to ask a question, and we will do paired readings. How's that? They're just one card pulls. So,
okay.
would like to begin? I could either call on you, or if you, whoever just puts their question in first, we'll grab it and we'll go for like another 10 minutes.
Sure.
As
Yeah.
long as we hold on.
Yeah, so we'll have people get their questions in. And while they're doing so, I do want to remind everyone to mark your calendar for StaarCon 2023. It will be January 20th through January 22nd. You can attend in person or online. And the website is staarcon.com, StaarCon.com. Tickets will be available soon.
And what about reservations at the hotel? Will that be soon as well? You'll have all that
soon as well. Yep, it'll all be available for us very soon.
Last time I didn't stay there and I regretted it. We were doing a little bit of a commute, and I highly encourage those who can attend to attend in person and to be part of that container and that connection and that wonderful energy. It's like a party. And I felt it when I was there. When I would break away, I was like, oh, so I really want to engage and emerge and submerge the whole weekend. And I encourage everyone else. Don't you think that's just the way to go?
100%. Yes. And especially this hotel. Oh my gosh. It is gorgeous. So totally great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right. So
I'm going to go ahead and put Tamara up.
Yep.
I'm in a little bit of a hump. A little bit of a hump or slump, Tamara, but
yeah, I'm not sure what a hump is.
I'm in a little bit of a hump. I think she's going to say slump, but why don't you clarify that, Tamara? And then Claire and Joanna, you're next. But yep. Tamara, if you
slump.
can, slump.
She meant slump.
Slump.
Yep. Slump.
All right.
Hump.
So you go.
Okay.
Christiana, you go first, and I'll add.
Okay. So, I wonder if it's a matter of perspective. Like when we talk about a slump. So are you a salesperson and literally not making sales in a sales slump? Like, what is your metric for deciding that you're in a slump? What does that mean? When I look at the cards here, first of all, if there is a financial piece, if it's a financial slump where you're not making your normal markers or your normal quota or whatever, I promise you it's going to get better. It's going to get better. First of all. Now, why? I feel like in a way you have lost some of your enthusiasm. And there's a sense that maybe what you need to do is get away from it, do something else, even for a few hours, even for a day, do something else, think about something else, nurture your inner child for a minute, come back to it. It will be better. It will be better. Lainey.
I love that. Tamara, on the Food Healing Oracle deck side, you got onions. So it, again, pairs very, very well with what Christiana just spoke to, which is the acceptance card. But it is actually taking some time out and reassessing, pulling back the layers, because sometimes there's a little bit of an automatic mode. And actually, it's time to kind of pull back, reassess, and see where you are lighting up inside. Where is it causing grief and tears and resistance? And learn to kind of peel back those layers and come into an acceptance that what you really want may not be what is expected of you. And to really kind of maybe do sort of this reevaluating time.
Absolutely. All right. So the next question I see is my good friend Claire, who was at StaarCon 2022, and we hope she'll be there at 2023. Any assistance about my daughter's thyroid? Recently had a 50% cancer nodule. So unfortunate. And I know that, different people have different thoughts about reading on health issues. Obviously, yes. We know she's working with her doctor. We are not replacing doctors. But what comes up in the cards for me is for both of you and all the people who support her to really keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on what is possible, to not see this as, I mean, no one likes to deal with cancer, but it feels to me like this is something that the doctors can work with, that it can be survivable, and that she can really thrive as she gets through this. So my advice here is, yes, work with the doctors, but keep your eye on your goal here, which is that she come out of this fine. And I think there's every reason to believe she can.
Beautiful. I have chills. And so what we share here, for those who are new to our station, is that we never prescribe or diagnose. We get senses. I'm an advanced food healing food scientist. I do know a lot about nutrition. I do a lot about chemical processes with food chemistry, but that doesn't mean I'm going to say anything that would be other than entertainment purposes for the sake of an oracle deck, if you will. So I will share that. And so far, everything I pulled has paired perfectly, and so does this. So in the Food Healing Oracle deck, Claire, we got for you the almonds card, which is power. And this is a real reminder, like chills up and down both of my arms, to stay in power. Because sometimes when you're hearing things that may be above your scope of understanding, big words, big processes, you have the power. Spirit will provide you the knowledge. If you need to learn more about what it is before you make a decision, create that power within yourself that you and your daughter can tune in and hone the power of spirit to know exactly what is meant for you. Not that there's anything against anybody, but you will feel more powerful when you are in alignment with information. And almonds is saying, get all your information, gather it up, and that will make you feel stronger and less vulnerable. And so will your daughter, because she will feel that in you.
That's beautiful. So, yeah. My good friend Fatima shows
I think up. Joanna's next.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah, let's do Joanna next. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm going to just go in the order. Yes. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, go.
Okay.
All right, Joanna, this is for you.
Energy for me to focus on this week. Okay, that's okay. So fun. So I pulled two cards, and they're two cards that when I read them, they say exactly the same thing. One is the Four of Pentacles reversed, and the other is the Six of Pentacles upright. So the positive energy is about fair exchange. It's about being generous with others, but having others be generous with you. It's about don't give away what you need for yourself, but do ask for help when you need it. So really about balancing your resources and your gifts. What are resources? Time, money, energy, skill. Balancing that. You don't have to be all things to all people. And you can ask for help when you need it. And you are a wonderfully generous person and will continue to be so, but do it in a measured way.
That was so spot on. Thank you for that. Well, this is your reminder as well. Joanna is the play card. And to have that reminder when you're looking at receiving and giving and having fun playing with receiving more and not feeling the non-worthiness. I guess the way I would say it is allow yourself to play, allow yourself to have fun, and allow yourself to hold in the knowing that that is your divine birthright, amongst many other things, is to enjoy the playfulness that life has to offer, and the fun that you are is to stay in the fun. If it's not fun, remove it. I think you know that. If it's not fun, course correct, because we need to keep that child energy, that fun, that humor, that wit, that excitement of life. If we're burdened down and heavy and stressed, that's only going to attract more of that. So give yourself the ability and the opportunities to play more that life wants to play with you.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. All right. So maybe let's do, oh yeah, Fatima.
Yes. Okay. And okay.
I've been thinking, can you read it?
I am. Yeah, I can. I've been thinking about this a lot. What are the connections between my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health? I've really started to focus on weight loss recently, and I believe it's like the past problems with letting go of negativity affecting the body in the same way. I totally hear that. And thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate seeing you. So the connections between your spiritual, mental, emotional health and your physical health. What are those connections? And what I get here is it's everything. It's absolutely everything and always has been. You know, when we talk about weight didn't come on like that. You know, it's been with you for a long time. And so when you look at losing that weight, you're also having to lose the emotional weight. And a lot of that has been with you for Six of Cups, a very long time.
All right. I'm pulling for you, Fatima. And the card that you got won the favorite in the deck. It's not the shadow. It's actually our miracles card, which is soursop. It's a very, very delicious fruit. You see a lot of it in South America. Very powerful for health challenges, anti-cancer, antioxidant. You can look it up. It's just got, I mean, it's our miracles card for a reason. But when you get that miracle card, it's really a sign for you to know that all is really well. The only one who may not think things are well are ourselves. But when you pull the miracle card of soursop, that's letting you know that miracles can shift in a second. I think it goes back to the very first card we pulled here for the collective about mindfulness, is that stepping back and looking that, wow, I can have I'm open to receiving miracles in this moment. I'm open to receiving miracles that spirit wants to bring me. I'm open to receiving miracles for my weight loss and everything else. And allow that. When you start to allow, the miracles will just show up everywhere, rapid fire, left and right, because you step into the miracle flow energy. You know, we say the law of attraction is exactly that. It's attracting a vibration. I like to step into the miracle flow. That's what I call it. And once you do, there's no pulling back. So for you to get this, I'm going to grab onto the miracle flow. I'm stepping in with you, and everyone else here should, because I think this might be our last card pull. We'll see if we have any time, but I think things are on their way up and open for you, Fatima.
So beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's it. I think that's it. So a couple announcements. First off, thank you. That was really fun, as if we've been doing this all the time. And I can't wait to do this live at your event, which I can't wait to be part of. And Joanna will be there, and we're going to have a great time. From now till then, what can we look for? So we'll be looking for a website where you'll have all the different information going on, and there'll be schedules. Obviously, it's not till January, but that doesn't mean that people can't start planning.
Right. And the website, and we'll start to reflect all of that with ticket sales available starting probably within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, perfect.
So we got that.
And, yeah, we got that. And then what about, do you have a personal website if someone wants to get a reading from you?
I do. It's just my name, Christiana Gaudet. And so I am available usually in person in Palm City, right here at that very table. But I also work by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, Zoom, you name it, I'll do it. And starting on Thursday, I will be available in Connecticut through June 5th. If you'd like to see me in person in Connecticut, have a psychic house party, or come see me at my location in Connecticut, which is in Madison, Connecticut. And I am also the guest of honor at Sasha Graham's Spirited Away, May 31st in Brooklyn, New York. So you could come see me there. And you can just look up Sasha Graham's Spirited Away to get your tickets for that. And while I'm traveling, I am still available for readings by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, Zoom. I'm working right through the holiday weekend. So if you find yourself with free time, I'm booked on Monday, Memorial Day, but Saturday, Sunday, I still have openings.
All right.
So if you want to see me in person in Connecticut, do that or reach out.
Fatima, where are you located? I liked, is she out of this country? I didn't know where she's located, but she says we do call it guanabana. And I just wanted to make a mention of it. Yes, that's the other name of soursop, is called guanabana. Now I'm here in Florida and we have a Farmer Joe's, and I walked in the other day and they had an entire kiosk of pulp guanabana. There were like 50 of these huge tubs. I couldn't believe it. So I use those there all the time in my smoothies. I'm big on intentional smoothies. We wrote a book. I'll just put it here. Smoothies, Nourishing Wisdom Beyond the Blend. And there's 33 enlightened recipes, including chakra smoothies, archangelic realm smoothies, because we're big believers that you can wake up each morning and put your intentions for the day in your blender, and you can drink that energetic understanding of what you want. So I put guanabana in my smoothie, and I was like, today I'm allowing those miracles to ingest and be part of me in every moment of every day. And I create affirmations. The book comes with an affirmations, and of course they're all based on the words from our deck. But if you came here tonight and you don't have our deck, you can go to foodhealingdeck.com and type in the word community, and that'll give you 10% off. So I'll just go ahead and put our website in there. And then, of course, Christiana, you can put your info in there as well. And I think that should wrap it up. We will be back next Monday, every Monday. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Joanna and I, sometimes we have guests, but always a great show. We have a lot of good things coming up, but I'm glad because this woman's going to get very busy. So I'm glad we got her this time. And we're so glad to be able to announce that we'll be participating with classes in the Saturday night gallery at StaarCon. We're so honored and we're so grateful. And thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we did it. We went through despite the technical difficulties, and this is our first time doing readings together, and so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Blessings. Reach out to Christiana. We will see you. We hope to see you. And by the way, for some reason, if you can't make it to StaarCon in person, as she mentioned, I don't know if you got that, you can take it and be part of it from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are fully hybrid.
Awesome. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks, everybody, for being here. God bless. Take care.